If you missed the October 15th tax extension deadline, you're probably wondering how much trouble you're in. The penalties can be steep, but there are steps you can take to minimize the damage. October 15th is the final deadline to file your tax return if you requested an extension back in April. Miss this date, and the IRS starts hitting you with penalties and interest. Let me break down exactly what happens and your options. Failure to file penalty. The biggest hit is the failure to file penalty. The IRS charges 5% of your unpaid tax for each month or part of a month your return is late, up to a maximum of 25%. So if you owe $2,000 in taxes, that's $100 per month in penalties. The 60-day minimum. Here's where it gets worse. If your return is more than 60 days late, there's a minimum penalty. For 2025, it's $480, or 100% of your unpaid tax, whichever is less. Even if you only owe $200, you'd still pay the full $200 as a penalty. Failure to pay penalty. If you owe taxes and didn't pay by the original April 15th deadline, you're also hit with a failure to pay penalty of 0.5% per month on unpaid taxes, up to 25%. This runs separately from the failure to file penalty. Interest keeps growing. On top of penalties, interest accrues on any unpaid tax starting from April 15th. The rate changes quarterly, but it's currently the federal short-term rate plus 3%. This interest compounds until you pay everything off. Real cost example. Let's say you owe $3,000 and file 3 months late. You'd pay $450 in failure to file penalties, plus about $45 in failure to pay penalties if you hadn't paid yet, plus interest. That's nearly $500 in penalties alone on a $3,000 tax bill. If you're getting a refund. If you're owed a refund, there's no failure to file penalty since you don't owe money. But here's the catch. You have only 3 years from the original due date to claim that refund. Miss that window, and the government keeps your money. What you should do now. If you missed the deadline, file your return immediately. Every day you wait adds to the penalties. Even if you can't pay the full amount owed, filing the return stops the failure to file penalty, which is much steeper than the failure to pay penalty. Payment plan options. Can't pay what you owe? The IRS offers payment plans. You can set up an installment agreement online for up to $50,000 in combined tax debt. There's usually a setup fee, but it's much cheaper than letting penalties pile up. Penalty relief possibilities. In some cases, you might qualify for penalty relief if you have reasonable cause for filing late. Things like serious illness, natural disasters, or other circumstances beyond your control. You'll need to request this in writing and provide documentation. Avoiding this next year. To avoid this situation next year, either file by April 15th or request an extension. Remember, an extension gives you more time to file, but you still need to pay any taxes owed by April 15th to avoid penalties. Bottom line, if you missed October 15th, file immediately to stop the penalties from growing. If you owe money, consider a payment plan. If you have a good reason for filing late, request penalty relief. Tax penalty situations can be complex and individual circumstances vary. For significant tax debt or complex penalty issues, consult with a qualified tax professional who can review your specific situation. Missing tax deadlines is expensive, but taking action quickly can limit the damage. If this helped clarify your options, hit like and subscribe for more tax deadline and penalty guidance.